Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo.
It's the whatever show.
What do you know? You're listening to the
Welcome to the
Whatever
whatever
Show.
The
show.
Whatever Show.
Yeah.
CNN is reporting that the investigation into Kendrick Johnson's death will be reopened. The headline reads: An investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson, the Georgia teen found dead in a rolled up gym mat 8 years ago, has been reopened, according to Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Polk. The body of Johnson, 17, was found upside down in the mat in Lowndes County School in January of 2013. Local investigators ruled his death was an accident. The Johnsons' parents have said they think their son was killed. And later, CNN reported that Kendrick was buried. The family had his body exhumed and a second autopsy done because they ruled that the death was an accident and they believe that it was actually murder. In October of 2013, it was reported that after the body was exhumed, they found that all of his organs were missing and he was stuffed with newspaper. So CNN reports that the family discovered that their son's body and skull had been stuffed with the newspaper before the burial, and that he was basically missing all of his organs from his pelvic up, including his brain. I'm really happy that this case is being reopened and investigated because it is so creepy. Clearly, an organized crime ring, much like what seems to me to be like what happened to Kanika Jenkins.
Yeah, I believe so too. The similarities are just not coincidental. It can't be. They both have the KJ name, doctored footage, young.
The doctored video is the creepiest part to me because that shows real organization and people are really good at covering their tracks. Then the other creepy part
How many
is
people
that,
are involved?
well, the police being involved in the fact that they're assisting the cover up is the biggest, weakest link in the chain. Like, that's the biggest problem.
Right. Very
Right.
unusual. I hope they come in hard. Like, there was a lot of injustice done here. I just feel so bad for the parents too. I hope there's justice in this case. I do feel like he was murdered. I don't think this was an accident.
I think he was murdered also. I don't think it was an accident. I think he was put in that mat. Climb into a mat to get your shoe just does not make sense at all. You would open the mat up yourself. Take your shoe
Exactly.
out. It seems to me it was like, probably a white school, and there probably wasn't too many people of his color in the school. If these two little white boys can get away with that, like, especially if his father was FBI, right? So he probably could get away with it, and he's probably, already thought of ways he can get away with it.
The
So,
racism issue could be part of it. I think part of the reason those kids were suspected was because there's a video of them at the cafeteria when, like, Kendrick's in line to get his food or whatever, and they come up and the two of them are, kind of jostling around, and they end up kind of tapping him. They tap him on the shoulder for no reason. Like, it's just odd, almost like they were picking him.
yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
there was so much going on because the video was being withheld, and like what they sent out to us, people, it was like Kanika Jenkins, where people, but it was even worse, edited, and you could tell right away. We're like, okay, there's hours missing here. This doesn't add up. How come we can't see from this camera? All that type of
12:04
stuff. People
p.m.
were picking up on it
Then
right away,
nothing. It
and
picks up
so
again
it's
at
pretty obvious.
1:09
And
p.m.
even the news people, they couldn't deny it. Later, little bits of more footage was coming out, and that was one of it. Was okay footage from the cafeteria area.
Yeah.
You can tell that this is no accident.
Two people who didn't have to die, basically. They didn't have to die.
I think there were two
Definitely.
people who were like easy targets in some way,
Yeah.
and yeah, and but both, like, they were both targeted. And I do believe they were both murdered, and that's why they were a target. You know what I mean? So what reason was that? Kanika was set
Right.
up by her friends and family, is what we're hearing. Seems to be the consensus. With Kendrick, it seems to be more of a school thing.
With
Right.
Kendrick, I feel that it could have been an accident, but like he may have could have even survived it, but they panicked and rolled him up and stuffed him there, and then went and got some resources, helped cover
So
it
then
up.
the organs missing is like a separate entity doing that, and it's not in like coercion. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
police could be like, "Yo, we got the young 19-year-old. Do you want them?"
Right, like or the funeral home or whoever.
Guaranteed, these funeral homes and they're all working together, especially when they're all corrupt like that, as Roosevelt.
Especially when they're a small town.
Will they prosecute anybody in this case? You know, that's what I'm hoping to see. Like I think it's happened in a way where it's almost unavoidable, but will they just throw somebody under the bus or what? And like the whole
Right.
connection, like this is not Kendrick, but Kanika, where the same police address where this biological center is, that's where the body parts were bought from that were shipped to Canadian medical centers, you know,
Right.
for students and schools and stuff like that.
And they have been raided, I think, twice.
Who?
This biological center in Rosemount, they've been raided twice for different things like, inhumane practices or wrongful storage of body parts and stuff. And they claim that people sign up for this service for when like their loved ones pass, that they can take their bodies for research.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's part of the scam too, is that if you're an organ donor, it kind of gives them the permission to take your organs. So I know with the Detroit bust, with the guy in the warehouse that had thousands of body parts, a lot of those bodies, they don't know for sure. We didn't get a final count or anything, but some of the victims were donors, donated their organs or whatever. But I mean, this guy had all kinds of body parts.
Records that some families didn't know that this is what was happening to their loved ones.
Absolutely. And not just that, but with how they were caring for the body. The guy in the warehouse, I mean, he had, arms and legs in a bucket, like 20 different people, and each leg, like there was no, he wasn't like he was taking any care whatsoever. It was just about making the money and getting them out. And I don't think it mattered to whom.
No. It's so shocking and disgusting that this is what's going on out there.
I was just thinking how Detroit has been sending them to Chicago because Chicago is the #1 place for organ transporting. So from there, it probably goes from Chicago to other places. Israel is the #1 place for organ.
Buyers are
Right.
hiring people who are alive for their organs.
Yeah, exactly. And people are signing up willingly for the money because they need it so badly,
Oh my God,
Sell their
wow.
kidney, sell their lung, or whatever they need to sell. It's really sad.
Feels like this is a well greased machine that has been in production for a very long time. Like these people know what they're doing, they're skilled at it, and they're almost untouchable. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
what it seems
definitely,
like.
because they're so intertwined with each other. They have it all covered, all their tracks covered.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Nobody wants to come forward because it's too intimidating. And in the small town, like
It's just so sad, and I'm so thankful too that they're reopening this Kendrick case, and I really hope that they'll end up opening up the Kanika case and see that there's a lot of injustice and corruption going on. We really do need to defund the police.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I really hope they get justice for Kendrick. It's a really sad story. I really do hope that the people who did this to him come forward. And we'll keep you posted on this story. And hopefully the outcome is good.
That's all for today.
Thanks for joining us.
thank you, everybody. Subscribe and like.